Hello and welcome to the Trachiniae, Sophocles' Trachiniae, the Trachinian women. The women of Trachis is how Paul Roach translates it. Um, this this play, we'll start with the prologue. This will be the prologue, and that is our first distinctive mark in this play because I've been boasting about or praising Sophocles for revolutionizing the prologue in the tragedy, uh, turning it into a legitimate dramatic instrument, dynamic interactions between characters instead of a stiff monologue. But um, but in fact, this one shows an older style of Aeschylean prologue, and so for that reason, some scholars think that this is T.F. Hoey is one of them, thinks that this is a an older, less mature work of Sophocles, around more like the middle of the century, the 450 BC or so. Um, I'm not quite so sure about that, but because I think this, regardless of when it was written, and even though this is an older style of monologue, I think it is dramatically motivated because um, Deianira has a reason for this lengthy lament about her life, because she's at a crossroads in her life and she's looking back at the past, and it's not all that rosy. So she begins with the um, the proverb. There's an illuminating old adage going around that declares you cannot assess the quality of any human's life, whether blighted or blessed, until they are dead. Sounds rather pessimistic, but I don't think it's intended to be so. It is really more like our modern gnomon, our modern proverb, uh, don't count your chickens before they're hatched. So she's um, she's saying, don't judge my life, and that explains what she launches into next. It actually explains a major plot device too. This is think of this opening when we get to the introduction of Iole, because I think of it rather as a kind of a glamour celebrity. Think of Entertainment Tonight or People Magazine, and an interview with a top box office star. Everybody wants to be me, and that star saying, "Well, maybe not. Don't be so quick to try to be me." Um, so she starts with a memory of her wooing, her romance, and that's what the stories focus on. Uh, that she picks up in her life story, and that is the fact that her beauty, her feminine beauty, has brought her nothing but male violence, surrounded by male violence, men always fighting over her, beginning with uh, her first wooing. My wooer was a river god, Achelous, who came to ask my father for me in three disguises, sometimes as a bull, sometimes as an uncoiling, lurching serpent, and sometimes as a man with bull's head on a human frame. Now, all three of those we see in the vase painting that we saw in the PowerPoint. Okay, so from there she goes to tell about more recent problems. Heracles exiled for the murder of Iphitus, the son of Eurytus, and so the nurse comes and interrupts, and now the prologue becomes genuinely dialogic, at least, if not dramatic, because I think it was already dramatic. And so the nurse says, "Well, your son Hylas is here. Why don't you send him to look for your husband Heracles?" And then we hear Hylas is grumbling, and he has heard rumors. That's what he grumbles about, is he's heard these rumors about his father and his infidelity with his mother. Maybe he doesn't really want to come back. Uh, Deianira takes that opportunity to repeat the oracle of Heracles, and it's this exploration of an oracle that I find valuable for talking about uh, ancient Greek attitudes toward prophecy. And I think that's very often misunderstood, and I think is applied then to the way that the modern mind approaches uh, tragedy in general. You hear the complaint very often among non-English majors, of course, or non-classicists. I really don't like Greek tragedy because everything always seems so inevitable. And here is where there's a Christian form of this complaint, and there's a kind of an existentialist complaint of this against this sort of thing. Um, the Christian lament is, of course, I have free will. I believe in free will. My faith teaches free will, and so therefore, um, God doesn't ordain everything for me, every aspect of my life ahead of time. Um, the existentialist, secular existentialist version of that is I make my own life. Right? I have no essence. That's a Christian myth, or a Platonic Christian myth, whatever. Therefore, I make my own essence. I decide who I'm going to be and what my moral uh, uh, values are going to be. Um, but if we look at the nature of this oracle, we realize that in fact it's not quite as cut and dried as we thought. It is in fact um, conditional. Heracles' oracle is conditional. 15 months from now, the oracle says, either Heracles will either come back and live a domestic life. The one thing that's been missing from Metaneira's life is a husband who will stay here and stay with me. But she will have that 15 months from now, or he will die. Those are the two possibilities. And with that, we come to the parados, the chorus coming out on stage, and thus ends the prologue. We'll see you at the first episode.